Welcome back to AI for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Ivanlee Jackson, along with my business partner and co-host, longtime good friend, Christopher Lang. We're in the building,
What up?
AI for Entrepreneurs. So last week in AI, Chris, so just, just to give y'all a little insight, we're friends. And so we're also, fellow nerds. So we oftentimes send each other little text messages of, we see something weird.
Little sweet nothings I want to whisper in his ear. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, not that. But weird, interesting little AI news tidbits and whatnot. And so we're oftentimes kind of sharing a lot of this stuff. So that's kind of why we came up with this segment last week in AI, because after a week goes by, we done text each other like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see this? So we want to share with y'all. So Chris has been sending some really interesting things this week regarding last week in AI. So Chris, kick it off, man. What have you seen in the internet world?
Yeah, so we got a couple of things this week. And the first one that I want to talk about is there's a generative AI company that has their own model. And the company is Inflection. And they just released version 2.5 of their model. And what's different about Inflection, that they have a chatbot called Pi. And what's a little bit different about this compared to some of the other models is a lot of the other ones are more focused on business. They're more focused on that style of model training, whereas Inflection AI is actually more focused on the emotional side. That's more of your personal assistant. It's something you could if you need someone to vent to. It has an empathy level or layer that's built in. And the other thing I like about it, let me actually share my screen here. First, because so this is their website. If you're watching the screen right now, if you're just listening, go to YouTube. Here now, I can kind of describe it. It's a very clean interface with their Inflection, new Inflection.
It looks calming.
Important change to how it will work.
It visually conveys what they're trying to go for in terms of the empathy, the calming, the vent, you know what I mean? Even that image is it's a calming image. Very simple.
Right. But what I really, really, really like about this one, so the name of their chatbot that you can work with is Pi. So I actually made sure this is a private window that didn't have any of my history in it, because I wanted to show the onboarding process to this. So you click Meet Pi. I already started on this particular private window. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I have to do a new private window. We got to go back. I definitely want to show file, new private window.
You want to show it fresh, as if someone's using it for the first time, just kind of the process that they would go
but it's
through. Only
sharing this particular window, so we're just going to have to go with it.
Okay.
Just going to have to go with it. That's okay. It's all right. It's all right. So, but basically when it onboards, you would ask what your name is. You give it your name. And then it asks you, what do you want to talk about? So if you notice on the left-hand side, it'll give you a daily news briefing, the real meaning behind your dreams, role play your next job interview. It gives you a lot of very, very visual representation about stuff it can talk to you about, brainstorm ideas, weekly horoscope. And it's not focused a lot. It's not solely focused on business stuff. You'll see, get to inbox 0. And one of the other things you could do here is I could enable audio. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear when I play these. Ivan, can you hear that coming through on your end?
So I can't hear it. I'm not sure what will happen in post edit, but I couldn't hear it. I'm really curious about get to inbox 0. That's been that's one of the things that's on my bucket list.
I definitely want to make sure that we can hear this. Can I add? I don't know. All right, whatever. But at any rate, it talks. So you could type to it and it'll actually speak back to you. A lot of they're very calming voices. But yeah, let's see. Get to inbox 0. Looking to declutter your digital life, blah, 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 unsubscribe from newsletter, set up email filters, use 2-minute rule. If you're looking to declutter your digital life and archive the elusive inbox 0, here are some quick tips to get you started. How's your inbox looking? So it's not really going to do it for you, but what it's going to do is give you ideas. But let's see. Let's you and I, your weekly horoscope. Tell me what your sign is. Ivan and I are both Gemini, so let's see what Gemini got for this week. Again, I can hear it speaking to me because I turned on the sound. I'm going to turn that off since I don't think you guys can hear that. But it gives you your horoscope, and even the writing, everything is meant to be very more calming, and it just adds that emotional level. And I think that the interface that they use is just beautiful. I think that it looks really, really nice, and it's a great way to give people ideas of what they could do using the AI, just very visually and right there in your face. And as you click on it, cultivate deeper relationships, and it gives you information, how you could do that. So I really, really like it, and I'm curious to see how it goes, because one of the things with their new version 2.5 is they did start getting towards those industry standard benchmarks. So what they're doing now, so not only can it has that emotional piece that's built into it, but it also started to be able to hit that coding, the mathematics, and the language understanding in addition to the emotional level. It's actually not too far behind things like Gemini or GPT-4 or even Claude 3 Haiku, for instance. So it's really getting up there in the normal industry benchmarks, in addition to having that emotional level to the LLM to the model.
So it's its own model, because I'm looking at
it. It's its very own model.
I'm looking at it thinking like, okay, I can take existing AI and just pre-prompt it to have that empathy, and because it almost like I'm looking at this and I'm kind of thinking, you? Well, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what you just showed us, right? And I'm thinking, honestly, optimize AI, right? Like on the left-hand side, they had all these different suggestions of how you can use the AI, right? Get your inbox to inbox zero, or get your inbox to zero, or horoscope, or whatever it was, right? They had all these different kind of suggestions, but ChatGPT has that. Optimize AI has literally that, but within the business realm, right? Like put together a marketing.
They just did it in a really pretty way.
Sorry, what'd you say?
They just did it in a real pretty way. Like it's just a very beautiful interface.
Is pretty. I love, and honestly, that's kind of where I see AI going, at least in the next few years, is right. You have this incredible power, but it's all about how do you bottle it up for individual use or for community use, right? Like being able to leverage artificial intelligence is wonderful, but if the ability for the everyday human being, non-technical person, to be able to access it and make it do what it do for them and help them more easily and more efficiently accomplish their goals, that's the real victory. So, for example, with Optimize AI, we took the same, ChatGPT is powered off ChatGPT 3.5,
right.
Google Gemini, right? You can click and choose which language model you want to use, but then it's pre-prompted to help the average entrepreneur, the non-technical, the entrepreneur who just wants to use it to get to the finish line of whatever project they're working on as fast as possible, right? The path of least resistance. So we pre-prompted it to create all these different tools and assistants to do just that. In the case of was Pi AI, you said this is
Pi.
Yeah, in the case of Pi, it almost looks like they kind of did the same thing, right? They designed a user interface in a way. They designed a user interface in a way for it to be really calming. They designed the voices to be calming, and the suggestions, the different kind of click here to get started doing this. The suggestions, they're kind of prompted along that path. So it's like they took AI and then tweaked it, shaped it, and massaged it into more efficiently accomplishing the goals and tasks of those who are trying to find a more calming relaxing experience or output from their artificial intelligence. Whereas we did the same thing, but for
Ish, though.
entrepreneurs.
See, that's the
And some
difference.
people will be
This
doing
isn't
it
just
for,
done with prompts. This is actually built into the training of the language model, and it has an empathy engine in it. Whereas things like ChatGPT and Google Gemini, they don't have that engine, that piece built into the actual model itself. It could be prompted to resemble or attempt to replicate empathy. But this actually has an empathy engine built in to try to understand on a deeper, more, and really understand how certain things affect how humans feel rather than the logical progression of things, which is really what all the other models are trained on. So that's what really makes this one a little bit different. So it's not just about the prompting. It's really about the way that it was built and trained. So I'm curious to see where this goes.
Yeah. Nah, I'm definitely curious. I like how I like when people take AI or take technology and kind of niche it down and make it really accessible for like a specific group of people, right? Like, let's say you managed a little league team. I'm just pulling an example out,
Right.
out of the air. But I would love to have AI for little league managers. Right. I want all my technology to be catered exactly for what it is I'm trying to do. Because for me as an entrepreneur, is whatever it is, just as a human being, I'm looking for life hacks. I'm looking for shortcuts and ways to be more efficient. So whenever I can get that technology like super custom tailored for whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish, right? Whenever I can do less steps to get to my goal, to my desired destination, and technology can help me accomplish that, I'm with that. So if I want to have something, a conversation with AI, and I want it to understand me, or I want to get empathetic advice or output, I'm happy that there's AI like Pi where I can go do exactly
well, and
that.
what's
I don't
really
have to train it and
interesting,
trick Chat GPT to do the same thing. So that's dope.
And what's
like
really
that.
interesting is based on the statistics, like an average chat conversation with any model like ChatGPT, Gemini is a couple of minutes. The average chat length of conversation with Pi AI is about 33 minutes. So people are really connecting with the AI on a deeper level, which is making them utilize it longer and chat with it longer as if it were more personified rather than a robot that you're giving instructions to. So the data is showing that it's causing people to interact with it for a lot longer of a period of time.
How are the voices, in your opinion, versus the voices that let's say ChatGPT uses in the app, in the mobile app?
6 of one, half dozen of the other. Honestly, they're all kind of. I'll give it. This one's a little bit better with Inflection. I guess Inflection AI, the company that built it, but just the way that it has a little bit more of more emphasis on words. It can understand a little bit better on how and where to put pauses into the sentences and where to put emphasis on words, and it does that a little bit better, in my opinion, than what you have going on over at OpenAI.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm definitely gonna stay tuned. Thanks for putting me on. Thanks for putting the world on. Inflection AI. That's to get there. They go to where. And literally, you
can go to
URL?
inflection.ai and then, or you can just go to pi.ai, and that'll take you right to their chatbot. Inflection will give you more information about the company, and Pi is the bot that you want to chat with. So next on our list, we have Devin. We're on their wait list. I really wish they would give me access to this. Devin AI is the world's first software development AI. I don't know how beneficial it's going to be if I share the screen here, because I don't know if anyone can hear this. I'll have to work that out in the future. But Devin AI, I got a video playing over here. It actually, you can see the subtitles a little bit going on down here.
First AI.
So it's an actual AI software engineer. I don't know if you can read here, but if you can't hear it, it's basically asking it to write code, and it's autonomous. It's creating the plan of what needs to be done, and then it'll go through and execute all of those different steps.
So it has like that agent, kind of like that agent ability, or kind of like Super Saiyan Sam, which is I call it the do everything for you It's like I created an assistant that not only if you tell it you want to put together a project, like let's say you want to put together a marketing plan,
Oh
it'll
yeah, it's very, very similar to Sage in the tool suite. I don't want to go too much into, especially in this particular area, more stuff about Optimize AI. I think we talk about our own stuff way too
no,
much.
I'm talking about like the
So I do, but
functionality part,
yes,
like
it has that getting things done type of
so just
method, and
explain that functionality part, and then because like that's I'm trying to connect that like so like because I want them to understand because like that's powerful, right? So like let me just explain it real quick. So with Sage, we like the do anything assistant. You tell it you want to put together a marketing plan, and the real magic behind it is it's going to list out all of the things that you need to do to put together a marketing plan. Then it's going to start doing each one of those things for you, right? So step one might be research your customer base, or step two might be, put together title ideas or campaign ideas or whatever it may be, right? Put together your customer persona. And it's going to start doing each one of those things. It's going to check off. It's going to do number one. It's going to research like, customers or trending topics or whatever it is for step one. Then it's going to go to step two, do step two, go to step three, do step three, right? So it's almost like it creates its own to-dos, then does them for you, which is really powerful when it comes to like leveraging artificial intelligence. Because instead of just telling it, hey, put together a marketing plan, it just gives you like one wall of text that kind of all off that first prompt. When you can have the AI break everything down into do's, look at the results of the last to do, right? So like step one might be look at customer persona, then goes to step two, based on the customer persona, put together some ideas for a campaign title. Then step three is based on what you found out, like what you identify for the ideal customer persona, and based on the campaign title you came up with, start putting together a social media plan. Then step four builds off of that, right? So when you can have the AI build off of each one of those steps, it becomes infinitely more powerful. So to be able to do that from a software development perspective, I can imagine that's crazy.
So not only it'll build a checklist, it'll start coding, but it can also execute the code. It can render it in a browser, check against its coding, do bug checks in its own coding to essentially give you the final product on what you're trying to develop. It's basically the world's first fully AI software engineer. Now, I don't know how great it works yet because obviously we're still on the wait list, which, if you're listening, Devin AI company, which I probably should know the name of your company. Come on, find us. Give me access. They do have a pretty in-depth onboarding form. I think they're being very, very selective about who they're giving early access to this tool. But from some of the demos I've seen, like remember the game Flappy Birds on the App Store? It basically made that like its own version of that game with just an initial couple of prompts on what it wanted to be built. But at the same time, there's another company, another app building AI that did it just a little bit better. So yeah, but it took a lot more prompting and a lot more intervention from the developer that was working with the AI to get it to be a little bit better, which I'm sure if rather than just a simple initial prompt, you gave Devin a little bit more instruction or there was more interaction with the actual user, I'm sure it would give you a lot better of a result than even that other one did. So I'm really curious to get off of their wait list and get my hands on that. So I want to see what it does with web-based things as well.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I love that type of AI. I love like that agent approach where you can kind of make this be your employee and give it a goal. It can create its own to-do list and then go down that to-do list, but also remember each to-do that it previously accomplished and integrate the information that it gathered from that to-do and use that in the next to-do. You get what I'm saying? Like now you're starting to get to like literally, and to me, in my opinion, that's when we're starting to like broach into AGI. Because when we talk
AGI, it's more autonomous. It doesn't need every single step of the way user input. It can make its own decisions essentially, rather than the user
like, what's the
telling it
next
to do a task and it completing that task.
Exactly. Like I've seen some that like will create the to-do list, then based on like what it figured out on the first to-do, it might update the to-do list. Like it just can continuously like think its way through a multi-tiered project to get to the best results of like completing that project.
Sometimes, so I don't think it's far enough along that it works too overly well yet, because I've also seen it get stuck in its own loop because it's trying to do a thing. It didn't quite get the result it wanted, so it decided to redo the thing, and it didn't quite get the result it wanted, and they get stuck in their own loop. Or I've also seen it, because a lot of the ones that I've played with, you need to provide your own API key, for example, to OpenAI. So you give it your API key, and in one simple request, which was do some research and make a blog post, I was running it on my local computer, and it would spit out and reach out to OpenAI to do the AI interaction. And I would tell it to simply just write me a blog post on this topic, do some research to get the most recent data, blah, blah, blah. It cost me like $35 because of the amount of times it interacted with with the API. So it does get a little out of control sometimes if you aren't monitoring it, because I put it on full autopilot. Just go ahead. And I came back in like 2 hours expecting to have like a really dope blog post, and instead I got a $35 bill and it was stuck in a loop.
It depends. Yeah, so it also depends on what you're using it for, right? So like, I
thought writing a blog post would be something simple. Go get some information from the internet and write a blog post about the topic. I thought that was one of the most simplistic things I could have given an autonomous AI to do.
That is pretty simplistic.
Yeah, I didn't ask it to rewrite the Declaration of Independence as Snoop Dogg.
When it comes to this like autonomous, like working this way, we're breaching that. That's where we're getting to. We're not necessarily.
We're getting close. Also, this was several months ago, so I'm sure it's a little further along now. I haven't really played with it in a while.
Yeah, but no, just seeing Devin, like that's an example. I think that's a perfect example of it. Because now think of it from as an entrepreneur who just wants to get something done. If I want to go build a video game like the Flappy Bird example you used earlier, I don't necessarily have to be smart enough about the development process or intelligent enough about the development process to have to tell the AI, okay, do this, do this, do this, do that. I don't know what to do, right? I don't necessarily know the steps of how to build a game like that. But now me, a regular person who doesn't really know all that, I'm empowered to be able to accomplish that goal by literally just telling the AI, this is the goal. You figure out the steps to getting me to this end result. All I want is to have an app that works on my iPhone where I can play this game. I don't know how to do all that, but you do it for me, right? And then I can, and again, it may not be all the way there today, but that's
right.
That's where it's going. That's where it's going to be at, in my opinion, literally this year. That's where it's going. Because I actually do know AI that can do that. Or parts of that, right? So like, just think of that in terms of like as a user who's leveraging artificial intelligence to like accomplish the goals. Like when it gets to the point to where you can literally just say, hey, you just have an idea for a game, give the AI that idea, and then an hour later be playing that game on your phone, testing it, and then at that point it's just who has the best idea. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like it's almost taking away. Before it was like
it's taking out an obstacle to completion, where if you're not a developer, if you don't know the skill, all you need to do is have the idea at this point, and the execution is done for you.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
It's taking out a lot of barriers to entry. So I think you're right in that instance. It's definitely, once it's to a real functional level, I think we're going to start to see a lot of new ideas and a lot of new things come out that might have never been thought of before. There might be people that have, like you said, ideas. They just don't know how to do it. They don't have any funding to do it. They don't have the time to learn how to do it. So it just never got done. But if they could just type what they want and then have it be done, that idea now could become a reality in, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, like think about even just Sora and all the homegrown content producers, movie producers, who make those like homegrown amateur movies and whatnot.
Think right, like filmed on the phone and
Yeah, exactly. I think about what they're going to Tubi. I'm thinking like movies on Tubi and stuff. Like think about the
Ah,
level of
yeah.
production and quality that's going to go up in terms of just being able to produce content in that way. When you have something like Sora that can, you literally just describe what the scene is and it creates it for you in lifelike detail. That it, there's going to be so many people that had ideas for movies or ideas for skits or ideas for content that, you know, with that obstacle in place now, aren't necessarily able to accomplish it. But when you empower them with AI, like it's literally it changes the nature of so much in terms of like entrepreneurship, in terms of like getting your ideas out the head. Like it's that with that obstacle, with that technology obstacle in the way, you have to be somewhat competent in leveraging technology to win, right? Or have a partner who's
Right.
competent,
Exactly.
or be able to pay for someone that's competent in leveraging technology. Like if you're going to make a movie, you have to have a good special effects team. You have to have a good camera crew, good, you know, all that stuff, right? Now it's literally like the writers, the people with the imagination, the creators, they're the ones in power. You're not as beholden to your special effects guy or a camera crew or all that other stuff that used to be the main barrier of entry of creating quality, high quality movies and productions. And so when with that change, like that just changes entrepreneurship, capitalism at a foundational level. Like it's going to be a real interesting.
Oh,
It's gonna be real interesting
100%, 100%. I'm most excited with Sora and Sora-like tools when it gets to a really good level. Just the editing implications. It'll have auto B-roll footage that actually, instead of having to go find B-roll footage through search algorithms and shit like that, it'll just be able to generate what the B-roll should be based on exactly what you're saying. I do want to, we're already almost 30 minutes into this and we haven't even gotten through our first 10-minute segment. So I'm going to skip our next one. We'll come back to it we'll come back to that one next week. Cause this is actually a really good segue into our second topic, which are just tools that you can use to help with your, you know, content creation workflows. And so like you were saying, when Sora comes out, I think that'll be huge when you're creating content, but we actually use some of them and a lot of them are hit or miss right now. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the tools that help you if you're a content creator or you're making things that where you need to create content. I guess you're a content creator. Just some tools that can help you with your workflow. I honestly, for the life of me, for the 100th time, cannot remember the name of the one I used. But I'll let you kick this one off just because I know you did an evaluation of a few different tools for basically chopping up long form video and creating reels and TikTok post and short form content out of the long form automatically.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's creating reels and shorter clips out of long form content is a great way as a social media influencer, coach, company, brand, whatever it is you're trying to do. It's a great way to like create content, right? Like you record a podcast such as this, and then with AI, you can upload it to that AI. The AI is going to scan that podcast from start to finish and then identify the most viral short clips. And it knows how to create clips for Instagram. It knows how to create clips for TikTok, specifically for TikTok, YouTube. And
did you say the name of the one that we use?
Not yet. I'm going to.
Okay. I kind of zoned out.
All good. But no, the thing is, all of these different. There's a few, right? There's a few different. There's a few different AIs that can accomplish this, but just think about the power that gives you as a podcaster or just as an entrepreneur trying to get your message out. You commit 1 hour of your life a week to creating this 1 hour worth of content. Then you upload it, let the AI chop it up for you, and they're going to create ready to post like 20, 25 ready to post clips that then you can spread throughout all your different social media. And so there's a few. We use Vizard,
Vizard. Yeah, that's the one. I have it bookmarked. I can never remember the name.
There's another one, like Opus, I believe, or something along those lines. There's
one called Video, I remember. Like Vidyo, video.
Yeah, so there's a few, right?
I saw TikTok about another one today called like Spike or something like that we haven't gotten a chance to try out.
There's a few. It's just, I just think that's like, it's incredibly empowering to be able to, just because back in the day, you had to do that yourself, right? You had to go watch the whole video yourself, find the different clips, try to edit your clips. Like, I mean, Vizard takes what we do, it reproportions it for social media. So it'll take, what's recorded as wide form for YouTube, and it'll turn it into a social media clip, right? Like,
that 9x16.
Yeah, like they'll fit it for your phone, right? So people, it'll create captions for you, give you suggested captions. It'll analyze the entire thing, look for like little short clips that it thinks might have a chance of going viral. It'll give you ideas.
It gives it a virality score.
Yeah, it even like the really cool part is it also gives you ideas that you may not even think of. Like the few clips that we've done before in the past using it, there was clips in there that I would never have thought like, oh, that's a highlight clip, or that's that little 30-second snippet might go viral. Yep. Let me turn that into a clip. Like I wouldn't even thought of that. So just having something to give you that extra
now, on the flip side of that, though, so while there's a bunch of tools that do this, they're also hit or miss. Sometimes you might upload a video and get some solid gold, but other times I've uploaded a video and gotten some utter shit, to be as honest as possible. Like it just cut you off mid-sentence or mid-word. Like it really couldn't make heads or tails of what was going on in the video. The editing was like the video cuts were slightly like shifted and not really visually appealing. Captions were over people's faces. So sometimes you get solid gold and other times you do get utter shit. So you do need to make sure you're not just kind of generating and posting, generate, post. You really kind of need to review. Still, there is that process, but it does take a lot of the editing side or the need to really dig through and find, like you said, those like kind of like gems in there, and then manually edit everything yourself. And it kind of also, I guess, depends on skill level too, because if you're a more advanced video editor, you might be able to very easily go in, add music, and bang out 20, 30, 40 clips out of a 1 hour video, and you might be able to bang that out in 2-3 hours. And they're going to be 20, 30, 50 times better than anything that the AI could generate nowadays, because it's kind of what you do for a living. So I guess
at that point,
they're useful, but
at that point, you're a professional video editor. So if you're, you don't
even need to be a professional video editor to do that. You can bang out the 10, 20 clips and.
Yeah, but if you're trained at and you're using, you know how to do all that to that level, that's a skill. Not everyone has that high level of a skill. Like I can, there's a wide skill level gap in terms of like what.
Right. Well, that's why I said it really depends on your your skill level and what you're doing. Like if you're a professional content creator and that's what you do for a living, there's a good chance you're probably going to be a little bit better at editing videos than someone who just is an entrepreneur and goes and speaks on someone's podcast once a week, or even maybe their own, like this one, for instance, but then has literally no skill in anything else. They know their craft and that's the end of it. But again, if what you do for a living, if how you make your money is content creation, you're going to have a little bit of a higher skill. So that's why I said it's hit or miss, and it depends on your skill level, whether or not it's worth using that tool.
Oh no, man. Like,
because I will say 100% of the time, not 99.9, 100% of the time, at least as of right now, using a professional video editing team will always give you better results than anything AI will produce when it's cutting it up manually. I will say that with all certainty.
Let me put this into context. Chris is saying that. Yeah, Chris, I'm pointing this way. All right, Chris is saying that because Chris has the skills of a professional video editor, right?
No, let's not say that. I have the skills of someone who knows a little bit about video editing.
No. I'm not gonna let you get off that humble. No. You know how to, you have the foundation. Again, there's a big gap, right? So there's people that are way above you who work at like production studios. But there's
see, that to me is professional video editing.
Yeah, but you're not that far off. If you want to go get a job in a production studio, you could show them what you know and probably get you're not that far off. Whereas me, I don't know how to use half the tools that you know how to use, right? I've been creating content for a long time. I know way more about just leveraging technology for entrepreneurship than most people, right? But I edit my movies in iMovie. I use a simpler
That's
software.
true. I don't even think I have iMovie installed on my Mac. I think I delete it.
Exactly, right? I prefer simplicity, right? Like not everyone can take a movie and edit their movie in iMovie, right? So like there's that. That's my whole point being is that there's gaps, right? There's gaps between what I can do from a production standpoint versus what you can do versus what you could do versus what someone at a professional movie studio could do, right? But the point being is with these AI tools, what I like about them, especially like Vizard, those other tools specifically for editing podcasts and making clips out of these podcasts, is that it's not just the AI, right? Like the AI going through your podcast, scanning it, finding the different clips, analyzing it, each one of those clips for potential virality. That's cool. But then there's also the interface and being able to easily edit some of these clips yourself,
right? Tweak them and
templates and adjust the layout and put your logo perhaps there, change the color of the captions. Like they also marry the AI with real simple editing tools for if you wanted to like really manage and tweak those little short videos, right? They're not on the level of what someone like Chris could do using a professional software or a production movie producer or someone of that level could do. But for your everyday entrepreneur who's recording long form content and wants to chop up that content and may want to tweak some how that content looks from a layout, caption color, or that just minor things, right? It's incredibly empowering. And so I think
100%
the marriage of those two tools is pretty cool.
100%. Definitely don't disagree with you there. My point was just, at least for right now, I'm not saying it's not going to get much better to the point where you don't need or where it won't do better than someone who works at Pixar, for instance. Right. But as of right now, if you could either put your videos into one of these AIs, or if you could afford to outsource that to an actual professional video editing team, the video editing team is going to do a better job 10 out of 10 times right now. But that doesn't mean a year from now that's going to be the case.
Right. Nor does it mean most entrepreneurs should go that route, right? Because a lot of times,
no, it's expensive to hire a professional video editing team to edit your videos. Like if you're a professional content creator and that's how you make your money, makes sense. But if you're just trying to put out general information, just really get yourself out there, until you really get your flow down and really get your groove with creating content. Don't go pay $5,000 to a video production or a video editing team to do your content for you. Like, just don't waste the money, because it could be the best edited thing, but until you really get your groove of what you're saying and how you're presenting it and you build your audience, it's still not going to get you anything.
Yeah, I think there's levels, especially when it comes to video content production, editing. Like, there's so many levels, right? There's the do-it-yourself level. There's levels to what you can do yourself. There's even like from a paying people standpoint, there's the video, there's recording it at a high quality, there's the chopping it up, there's the editing it. There's levels to that, right? You got one team that might charge a couple thousand, another team, there's the $5,000 level, there's the $10,000. Right. Like there's so many.
You got Fiverr people for $100 who will do a really good job.
Yeah, it's almost like art, right? When it comes to art, like when it comes to paying someone to sing to you, there's just levels of.
It's subjective.
It's subjective.
Well, not only that, but it's subjective.
Yeah. There's so many different levels, but I think for the vast majority of entrepreneurs who aren't at the level of needing or requiring to pay for a full-time production team, man, like these little AI tools, if you're doing podcasts, if you are, if you are trying to get your message out and you're creating long form content, I think these little like AI tools that marry the simple production capabilities with the AI in terms of scanning it and doing a lot of the work for you. I think that's a very intriguing path that
Insanely powerful. And again,
Insanely
just time saving. Like I said,
Yeah.
we use it for most of ours. And I can do the video editing, but also, we run multiple businesses. I don't have time to do the editing just because I can. If a client's paying me to do it, sure, I have all the time in the world because it's paid time. But for just us to make some social content, we ain't got time for that. We got businesses to run.
So so we say all that to say the best endorsement we could possibly give it. We use it. We use Vizard. There's a bunch of them out there, but definitely check them out if you're content creator, social media. Definitely check it out.
I'm pretty sure we have like an affiliate link for it, so I'm going to be straight up about that. If there is a link to Vizard in the description below, there's a good chance it's an affiliate link, so use it.
Yeah, definitely support. Any other tools?
But I think that brings us over to our main topic.
Okay.
Which actually kind of, again, this is a kind of decent segue because we're talking about using AI versus doing it yourself. And the main topic is really, the barriers and challenges in AI adoption. So I think that's a really good segue because, people are you using AI? Are you paying people to do the job? What really seems to be the biggest objection to using AI as opposed to human resources? Not human resources from like the company, but human being resources for projects or things that you're working on.
So, I deal with a lot of solo entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners. I think a lot of what I get in terms of objection is limited imagination in terms of like what AI can do for them on a regular basis within their system, like and within their workflow, right? So like when they hear AI, they think, okay, I can write stuff, I can produce, some content, but like how do I they don't necessarily like see how it can literally replace huge sections of their workflow, right? Like we think of it, being AI developers and whatnot, like we think in those terms, right? Like, hence we build a whole tool suite with different tools to accomplish each one of those goals, right?
How many people don't I have to hire?
That's how yeah, exactly. Like we think of AI as like, okay, how can we replace the entire workforce, right? How can I build it?
Now, if anyone is actually listening, well, yeah, like if we can replace the word, but we're not trying to replace human beings. I mean, I guess in a sense we are, but just don't come at us.
For our companies, if we can build
a
company and completely power it with artificial intelligence, we will, right? We are
100%. Yeah, we're trying to replace people.
Yeah, we think inside out in terms of like using technology, right? We'll build the company around the capabilities of what we can do technical wise, right? So like if we know we have this AI that can do this, we'll build a company around that, right? Like whereas most entrepreneurs kind of
if we can get Devin, we're opening an app development company.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Like that's how we think. Like just being technology enthusiasts and entrepreneurs, right? Like we kind of build leveraging that technology. We've done that multiple times over the years. Whether it was website development, e-commerce development, we find a platform that we really like. We see that platform is taking off. We learn that platform. Like how can we take the capabilities of these platforms, whether it's like Magento, right? We got into Magento early, then it was like, okay, let's sell that skill to other e-commerce entrepreneurs who are looking to leverage Magento.
Sell their shit online, yeah.
Wherever the technology is, right? Like we kind of find, when Shopify started moving, it's like, okay, we know the foundation of developing on Shopify. Let's get better at that and sell that service to other entrepreneurs who are looking to build in Shopify, right? So you move with the technology, and with AI again.
But again, we move with the technology.
Yeah, we move.
I think a lot of people are. I know people that still. I don't really know per se people that still use flip phones, but there are people that exist that still use like flip phones because they haven't even adopted the iPhone yet. So I think it's just such a new technology. It's something new. People they either don't know enough about it, they're not educated enough about it, they're scared of it. I've heard a lot of that. Like they're afraid, what if they give their AI their information and is it going to steal their ideas? I get a lot of feedback like that. People just looking for, do you know of any AIs that I can, talk with that won't steal my ideas? I'm like, no AI stealing your idea. I promise you the AI is not stealing your idea. If you have thought it, the AI somewhere in the AI algorithm, it exists. Like it's not stealing your ideas.
Yeah, execute. First of all, the idea is not even that powerful. Like execute. People have ideas.
The execution of the idea is. But I mean, we talked a little bit about it before. Maybe not soon. Soon the idea may be the more powerful thing once the technology catches up.
There's always that part, like what you have in your head, unless you get it out of your head, it's just in your head, right? And so like a lot of times would-be entrepreneurs, would-be business owners, like they have this thing in their head, but they're so scared to tell others. It's like having a wonderful
fear of rejection.
Yeah, it's like having a wonderful movie in your head, right? You might have the world's best movie idea in your head, and you know it, but if you never tell anyone else ever, nor do you trust AI to build it out yourself, right? Like let's say Sora becomes to the point where you can literally just type that idea out and
give it a script.
You're like, nah, I'm not going to do that because I don't trust the AI either, right? If you never trust anyone ever and you never get it out of your head, then that you very well could have had the best movie idea ever in your head, but
Oscar award-winning movie.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You never got it out of your head, right? So like that's. I think that's
so I definitely think the fear of the technology and just the lack of education on the technology of really, rather than thinking it's going to replace you, think of how you can use it, because while the AI might not take your job, someone who knows how to utilize the AI to do a better job will take your job.
100%.
Someone who leverages AI, because AI is starting to pop up in everything. Everything is starting to have their own version of AI, from the project management software that we use. We were using Zoom. We had a meeting the other day just to test the new AI functions in Zoom. I'm not going to bother talking about them because I'm not plugging Zoom here. If I am, you'll see an affiliate link at the bottom. But but AI is starting to pop up in literally every single application that you use. In fact, even Apple is in talks to use Google's Gemini in their phone operating systems, similar as to how Microsoft is starting to build OpenAI and ChatGPT, or Copilot as they're just kind of white labeling it, I guess, is building that into their like Microsoft Office suite, and they've already started building it into their operating system into Windows. So AI is starting to show up everywhere. So the faster you start to really adopt it, maybe start to understand it. And if you don't understand it or you're afraid of it, talk to somebody, just go on TikTok, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, and just start watching videos that are giving people that are just watch us. Get yourself educated about AI and what it actually is and what it does, rather than trying to run from it or hide from it, because it's not going anywhere. In fact, it's going to become more and more and more ingrained into your life over the coming years, and it's unavoidable. It's like the smartphone. It's like the internet. It's a wave that's coming, and you cannot dodge it, swim through it, go over it. It's going to crash into you, and you're going to have to start accepting it. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a ramble there, but
no, that was good, man. Like that's good. It to me, it reminds me very, very much of the internet, and you know, because we were working together back far enough with the internet to like remember what it was like to try to sell websites or e-commerce stores to local businesses back in 2008. 2009, 2010, right? Like
screw SEO. Let's go walk and knock door to door.
Yeah, exactly. Or sell SEO, right? Like all of that different stuff, right? Like just trying to sell to small business owners back in 2009, 2010. I'm talking local small business owners on your everyday main street. So, just true story.
Local buzz, I think we called our offering.
Yeah, true story. Me and Chris, being young entrepreneurs, we were working together around 2008, 2009. And we had like a technology offering, so like websites and SEO and all this stuff that would be very helpful to local businesses, right? And so we would walk, we go to different main streets and kind of, well, this didn't really last long because it didn't really work well, but we would go to different.
But we tried. You try, you fail, you try again. That's being an entrepreneur.
We went to a couple main streets and we just basically knocked on every business owner's door, and we got a chance to speak to a lot of these business owners, and we start telling them about SEO and leveraging the internet and how all this stuff is going to be really important. Google, like how, if you might be a flower shop, and then we would pull them up and look, you don't even come up first on Google. If I search,
how people going to find you?
People can't find you, right? And I live right down the street, and I'm right here in your shop searching for flowers. And the whole page
it's sending me,
right. Wow,
and we had really cool flippy foldy handouts, and we spent way too long making, and way too much money making.
So then their excuse would be like, well, my father owned this shop. People just find us locally. It's just the way it works. They got comfortable. They got comfortable in the way things were, and so when we start talking about what you need to do to compete going forward, especially as things were transitioning and SEO, Google, buying online was becoming more prevalent, they didn't have the creativity to see that, right? Like there's comfort.
I bet you every one of them has a website and local SEO now.
There's
in
comfort
2024,
in right? So I think of to me, the AI has that level of empowerment. And also delay in acceptance. And the thing is like the internet, if you are a business owner, you have to leverage the internet in today's day and age, right? There's something about the internet, or you're going to need a website. You're going to need some sort of presence or a social media presence, right? So you're going to need some level of the internet.
Yeah.
It's the same way with artificial intelligence, right? Like there's no, going forward, it's just so empowering and so prevalent in every other business and every aspect of industry that it's going to really come down. Like if you're not leveraging AI, it's like trying to compete back in the day when calculators just came out, and you're a company that's like, no, I'm just going to use my old school pen and paper. The abacus.
The abacus, where you move the little,
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that, because my dad did it back in the day, and we've been comfortable doing this. Meanwhile, your competition is calculating, calculator, boom, moving on. There's it's gonna get to a point where you can't compete. You can't compete in today's day and age, entrepreneurially, if you're not leveraging the internet, right? Because your competition is. And they're going to get in front of so much more people, right? Whether it's social media, the internet, just Google, whatever it may be. You can't really compete if you're not leveraging the internet. And to me, it's the same thing with artificial intelligence. Next couple years.
In addition to that, too, it's not just entrepreneurs and businesses. It's individuals looking for jobs. People, companies that are hiring managers and companies that are hiring people are going to start looking for people that are knowledgeable about artificial intelligence. As the companies adopt AI into their business infrastructure, they're going to be looking for people that are familiar with it. The same way when companies started adopting the website. Well, now I need somebody that knows how to work my website. Right. Now I need somebody that knows that. When they started to realize, all right, I know my business needs to be online and on social media, they started having to hire social media managers. So they're going to need to start hiring people that are familiar with AI, just from a norm. Even if you're not an entrepreneur at all, and your path is to work at for somebody else, you want to do your 9 to 5 and go home and be with your family. You don't want to work 28 hours in a 24-hour day. Cool. but you should still understand artificial intelligence because that's how these hiring managers are going to start. It's what they're going to start to look for.
Oh, it's a force multiplier, definitely. Like if I'm hiring
100%.
someone and I can hire, let's think like a video production team, right? Or a video guy, right? And that video guy can record, can edit video, like that's cool. But if I have another video production guy who can record, or girl, right? Guy, girl, we're not sexist. If I have another video production person who can record, edit video, but also leverage artificial intelligence to do what we're doing and do a lot more of it a lot more efficiently, then it's a force multiplier in terms of what I'm now able to accomplish for that business or what that employee is able to accomplish for this business. So yeah, by all means, man, like if you just have some level of intelligence and creativity in terms of what AI can actually accomplish, and you can take that to a hiring manager or any, an entrepreneur, a business owner. Like I think there's a lot of opportunity just in that, right? Just knowing what AI can do, and kind of like what we did back in the day. Knock on every door, on every small business owner's door, right? Go by that pizza shop. Like, hey, are you using AI to create specials, content? There's so many ways that you can use it, that you can leverage it, right? There's AI for lawyers, AI for doctors, AI for, and if there's not, there's going to be. And there's
actually, you said AI for doctors. Salesforce is coming out with, or just came out with, to not so much on the medical diagnosis side, but on the administrative side. I know a lot of companies are working on AI for the medical diagnosis side, but they're working on all the paperwork you have to do, the insurance applications, and they're actually working on AI within Salesforce that's going to be specific for medical patient records and all of that handling. So they literally are implementing AI into every facet of every industry.
And so like it almost gets to a point where you just need to be able to connect the dots, right? This is just if I was younger, just trying to get into make some money, right? Like this would be helpful, right? Like because odds are the local doctor's office, which is usually ran by like a family practitioner, small staff, odds are they don't have a AI engineer on their team, and they don't necessarily know all the different AI that's out there for them that can help make their business run more efficiently. So now if you can be the person that can connect those dots, right? You don't necessarily have to be the person that's building the artificial intelligence. You just have to be the person that can sit down with whoever's running that doctor's office, kind of take what it is that they're doing and then show them how they can apply existing artificial intelligence that's already out right now to help them do what they're doing and do it way more efficiently. Like there's value in that. There's tons of value in that. And so I think there's a lot like that's that. And to me, that just is what reminds me of our days early in the internet. Well, not early, but like, early in terms of selling the internet and just leveraging the internet to other small businesses, right? Because like there's so much, really at the end of the day, we're just connecting dots, right? Like there were so many different things we could offer them, whether it was SEO, building a website, e-commerce, social media. Like there were so many different things, but it was really at the end of the day, like an entrepreneur who spent a lot of time working on their business, who would then look to us to help guide them in terms of what they should be doing within their business to better leverage the internet, right? So whether that was building a website or e-com store, or help them build out their SEO, or help them, manage their social media, like they almost kind of always look to us to they know all this stuff is out there. Where should I start? I know I need to be leveraging it. And I think that's kind of the real opportunity in AI right now, because it's so much out there, and not a lot of people know how to really, or have the creativity of what is out there and how it can really be helpful to them. Think about the person that's going through a stressful moment who doesn't really know about Pi AI, right? You want someone to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't necessarily want to talk to a human. But you don't necessarily know that Pi AI is out there, right? Unless you're an AI enthusiast. So just being able to connect those dots between ideal use cases or users with
Mm-hmm.
what's out there, and knowing that what's, in terms of AI, but also knowing that what's out there in terms of AI keeps, is rapidly evolving day by day, to be able to like have your ear on that side and understand that, and then connect it with potential users, I think is a huge opportunity. And I think that's what like really holds a lot of people back, is just not a lot of people know. They don't know. They don't know what's out there. They
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
I think that's absolutely one of the bigger, if not biggest, um, barriers to entry with AI is just people just don't know. They don't know what's there, especially maybe some of the older generation. I'm sure a lot of Gen Z, they might be listening to this going, you guys only think you know. Like, you guys are old. They call us old now. I mean, we are 40s, but
Hey, old is in the mind.
exactly. But no, I think not knowing, I think fear of AI in general, late adopters for technology. I think that it's mainly some of the biggest things that are the barriers to entry from a business standpoint. I think it's kind of the same. They either don't know what can be done, or they know what can be done, but it's slightly cost prohibitive us on a larger scale business implementation, because to build things on a business level are a lot different than building things for personal use. For instance, like, if personal use, if it accidentally says XYZ, I'm like, oh, ha ha ha, that was funny. But if I'm a business and I have a chat bot, like the car dealership, for instance, I think it was a Chevy dealership that had like an AI chat bot, and the user got it to agree to sell him a car for $1, and it was just like, nowhere does it say that that's not a representative of your company. Give them the car. So building things and AI for business, the barrier of entry is really just paying someone who understands that type of thing could happen and being able to solve around it, and the cost associated with it at the time. So I think that's another barrier to entry just from that standpoint.
I agree.
I have nothing else. We're a little over an hour, so it's time to wrap up. I have no parting words other than my normal like, share, subscribe, show us love, all that kind of fun stuff. Ivan, what do you got?
Hey, if you're creating long form content, check out Vizard. If the affiliate link might be below, that's where we're about to take this video, upload it to. Let the
Yep.
AI chop it up into different little segments, and then you'll be seeing these clips on social media. So, we practice what we preach. Other than that, man, have a great week. We'll see you next week for AI for Entrepreneurs, episode 4.
4. Yep.